Okay. So, having completed first niyama, now we move on to the second niyama. The second niyama is Santosh, contentment. So the sutra reads, Santoshad anuttama sukha labha. Santoshad anuttama sukha labha. From contentment, unsurpassed happiness is gained. So, taking this idea of getting established. So, when one gets firmly established in the practice of contentment, then that person acquires or attains unsurpassed happiness. That is the meaning of the sutra. And in Hindi, संतोष के स्थिर होने पर निरतिशय सुख या अनुत्तम सुख का लाभ होता है. So again a very important niyama from the perspective of what we human beings are looking for in life. You see, if we ask anybody, what is it you want in life? Then the most common answer would be that I want to be happy. This is the most common desire everyone has. Everyone wants to be happy. But then having this desire and seeking happiness all the time, how many of us are really happy? That is the important question. And how many people you have seen who are really happy? So somehow it seems that for majority of the people, this happiness remains a far-fetched idea. One is not able to attain it. In between living life, some happiness does come, but that is short-lived. And normally you will find most of the people are not happy most of the time. They are just trying to struggle to be happy. And one of the reasons why it is so is because this happiness depends on certain factors. And those factors are wrongly placed. Normally, happiness is associated with fulfillment of desires. So all the time this happens that we keep on thinking, if this happens, then I'll be happy. If that happens, then I'll be happy. So every time, we are near the goal post, we ourselves shift the goal further. So goalpost is all the time changing for most of us. And if the goalpost is all the time changing, then we cannot be happy. We cannot be really, saying that I have achieved my goal. It is not that we are not able to attain our goal. We are attaining our goals. So to say that we are not attaining goals would be wrong. So let us really look back our own life and let us become aware as to how we have led life so far and what all we have achieved in life. Often you will find that all our mundane goals, material goals, most of them are fulfilled as per our desires. We want a job, we get a job. We want money, we get the money. We want a house, we get the house. We want a spouse, we get the spouse. We want children, we get the children. So many goals, not all the goals maybe, of course, because there are some goals which remain unfulfilled. So if we are focusing on them, then we are unhappy. That is one of the causes of unhappiness. But otherwise, generally, if you will see most of the goals we have set for ourselves, we do fulfill them. But in spite of that, we are not able to be happy because every time we attain something, then that is replaced by another goal. Another desire comes. So this way, the shifting of desires keep on happening. When we attain one goal, we go to the other, we go to the third, we go to the fourth, endlessly it goes on. So there is no possibility of, happiness, because it will be again dependent on fulfillment of a new desire. And as long as the desire is there, the unhappiness is there, because we are always reminded that this desire is unfulfilled. I want to achieve this and I have not attained this. So this way, it is always shifting. This is what we are doing to ourselves without realizing that this is what we are doing to ourselves. We are not aware that we are doing this. And another thing is that when some desire gets fulfilled, how long we are really able to sustain that happiness, which comes because of the fulfillment of desire. We are not able to retain that. And there's a reason behind it why we are not able to retain it. Because our minds are made in such a way. Because life is like that. We are made in such a way. Our personalities are like that we keep on shifting the goalpost. And we keep on, making things impossible for us. So even when the happiness is within the grasp, we are not able to achieve that. We are not able to live that. That is what is happening. So as against that, these ancient yogis, they say that if you want to be happy, develop the habit of contentment. Santoshad anuttama sukha labha. There are lots of sayings in Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, you'll find. Santoshi sada sukhi. The person with a habit of contentment is always happy. He is always comfortable. He is always in joy. Santoshi, the one who has developed this idea of contentment, he will always be. So now when we are talking about contentment, a natural reaction comes in our mind. That if we feel contented all the time, then where is the need for working? Where is the need for developing? Where is the need? How we will grow? We want to create wealth. We want to grow in life. We want to become rich. So even those targets of richness are also fulfilled. So there are persons who have become very rich. But if you ask them, are you happy? What do we find? Are they really happy? This is the question which we are experiencing it day in, day out, around us. So even the people who have attained great richness, they are not happy. Some people say, if I become powerful, I'll be happy. But there are powerful people, still they are not happy. So there is no, end to it. When we talk about desire-based fulfillment, desire-based happiness, then there is no end to it. So as against that, yoga says that develop contentment. So yoga would say, earlier we have seen in the yamas, asteya, non-stealing, aparigraha, living in the minimum possible resources, with the minimum possible resources, and taking only that much which is necessary for sustenance of life. Because yogis believe if we are alive, if we are healthy, then that is cause enough for happiness. We don't need anything actually. If we are healthy and we can enjoy life, we are alive, that should be a reason to celebrate. But we are not able to really enjoy that. So somewhere this idea of happiness in our mind, which is connected to the desires, is little wrong idea. So we need to correct it. Happiness does not depend only on the fulfillment of desires, because by nature, it so happens that we will go on changing our desires. Goalposts will keep on changing. And this we have discussed earlier also when we were discussing Sutra 15 of chapter 2, which we have gone in great detail. So parinama tapa sanskara dukkhair gunavritti virodhacha dukkhameva sarvam vivekina. There we saw that one of the reasons why we can't sustain happiness is because the mind is always changing because of the sattva rajas tamas effect. The gunas are always changing. So even if we are in a happy state of mind for some time, we will not be able to retain it. Immediately after some time, change will take place. And even a most ideal situation which is conducive for happiness, there will be a change in that. And again, we will start feeling that dissatisfaction, that discontentment, and that will lead to, that feeling of vacuum, feeling of lack. Feeling of lack is all the time guiding our life. Our focus is on the lack. Our focus is not on what we have. Our focus is always on what we don't have. That is our focus. So if that is our focus, how can we be happy? If the focus shifts to what we have and what we can enjoy, then every day, whole day, there is an enjoyment because we have enough. In a normal way, unless a person is really so unfortunate that a very bad situation he is facing, most of us in general way, in a normal way, ordinary individuals, we have enough to be happy, but we are not happy. So one reason is that gunas are at the play. The other is the faulty idea in our head that unless the desire is fulfilled, unless I have this, unless I have that, I'll not be happy. So that is another thing. And then you see who puts this idea in our head. It is the society around us. It is the people around us. We are always comparing ourselves to others. So we are thinking these other people have this, other people are enjoying this kind of life. And I've seen this happening with all of us. All of us are subject to that. So many a times our cause of unhappiness is that we are comparing ourselves to other and we are finding that other people are enjoying, I'm not enjoying. Other people are having so much money, they have got so much power, they are traveling here and there, they have got so many friends, they have got everything which I don't have. So this is the cause of unhappiness. What I have, instead of enjoying that, if I think that others have, I don't have, then there cannot be any happiness. So as against all these, this has been analyzed by the great rishis and the great sages and the great yogis. And finally, the conclusion they have drawn is that one has to learn to be content. If the person does not have contentment, a feeling of fulfillment, a feeling of contentment, that no matter what kind of power he has, no matter what kind of riches he has, he will always remain unhappy. Happiness is directly proportionate to the contentment. This we have to understand. And without contentment, if a person may have everything, but still he is not contented, still some unfulfilled desire is there which is biting him, which is worrying him, which is nagging him, which is making him sad, which is making him sick, then the person, in spite of having all the best possible things in the world, will still be unhappy. So contentment is the essential condition in which the happiness, and we know that we all want to be happy. This has been beautifully captured in our scriptures that we all want to be happy. So if we look at the ancient scriptures, there is one Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which has been quoted in the commentary of the Sutra. The only one sentence is there in the Sutra commentary. Vyas Bhashya is very small. Very little Vyas Bhashya is there. So I just read that. Only one sentence is there. So in English, it says, it has been said in this connection, the happiness gained on this earth through the enjoyment of desired objects or the supreme heavenly joy is not even 1/16th of the happiness caused by the cessation of desires. This is a quote. This is a quote from Mahabharata. And also there is one Puran, Vayu Puran. Same quote is there in Vayu Puran. So they have said that the happiness which arises out of contentment or when the desires are subdued, the happiness which is gained by giving up the desires, they have been compared, the happiness gained because of this is compared to the fulfillment of desires. So they say that all the possible things which are there on the earth, if we are able to attain, we fulfill all our desires on this earth. And even the desires of heavenly objects. So even if we have those things which we are hearing the scriptures that in heaven these kinds of things are there, if we attain that, So the happiness gained out of fulfillment of this kind of desire is not even 1/16th of that happiness which can be gained by giving up all the desires, by becoming free from all the desires. So this is the quotation, this is the quote taken from Mahabharata. And regarding attainment of happiness, I was telling you Brihadaranyaka, that has been quoted in another commentary. And there's also a quotation in that the same Upanishad uh, talks about it. And then there's another Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, which is also talking about it. So Taittiriya Upanishad is very important, and there they have compared. They say that every living being wants happiness. So they have analyzed happiness in a very detailed manner, in a great manner. And they say that essentially we have spiritual essence. And that spiritual essence is the essence of Brahma. That spiritual essence is the essence of God, Ishvara. And the essential nature of that Ishvara is Ananda, joy, bliss. That's why you'll find this terminology which is used in Sanskrit, Sat, Chit, Ananda. ब्रह्म का स्वरूप क्या है? सत है, चित है और आनंद है. ब्रह्म जो है वो आनंद स्वरूप है. Brahma, essential nature of Brahma is Ananda, and we are a product of Brahma. So we are also in Ananda. Our essential nature is also Ananda. But where is Ananda? We are not experiencing that Ananda because we are not really contemplating on this idea in a correct manner. So this Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, has gone into great detail. And Taittiriya Upanishad says, it analyzes the Ananda or joy or bliss or happiness. So it says that let us consider a young person who is energetic, who is wealthy, who is very intelligent, and he has got all the riches in the world, he has got all the power in the world. So he may have certain amount of happiness. As compared to such an individual, there is another level of existence which is called Manushya Gandharva. Gandharva's happiness is 100 times more of the man. And there is also Deva Gandharva, whose happiness is again 100 times more than that of the Manushya Gandharva. Then there are three kinds of Devas. And each of the level of Devas, they have got happiness which is 100 times more than the earlier one. So this way they have gone into 10 categories. So they say that, in Deva, again Indra is there. He is the king of Devas. So Indra's happiness is surpassing everybody else. And then from Indra, we go to Brahaspati. And from Brahaspati, they have gone to Prajapati. And from Prajapati, these are the categories of existence right up to the Brahma. And then they say that finally the Brahma, whose happiness is unsurpassed by anybody. And we are part of that. So this way, this Upanishad, what this Upanishad is trying to say, that it is natural that we will seek happiness, we will seek Ananda, we will seek enjoyment, because that is our essential nature. Because the spiritual essence which is there in all of us is made up in such a way that we will ultimately seek Ananda. And Ananda is there, but it is elusive. We are not able to find it. And in this Upanishad, only one important concept of yoga is there, which normally you must have now this Ayush and other exams have come. So yoga has become a little academic. So there you will find the Panchakoshiya personality of 5 layers. So Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosh, Jnanamaya Kosh, or Manomaya Kosh, or Vijnanamaya Kosh. And then finally, what is that? Anandamaya Kosh. So every human personality or every being is composed of 5 sheds, 5 layers, 5 layers of covers. So the first cover is the Annamaya Kosh. Our body, our mind, our entire complex is made up of Annamaya Kosh. We are what we eat. So that is Annamaya Kosh. then there is a Pranamaya Kosh, then there is Manomaya Kosh or Gnanmaya, and then there is a Vijnanmaya Kosh, and then finally there is an Anandamaya Kosh. So essentially there is a joy, there is a bliss, and in yoga so far whatever we have seen, Sattva Guna is responsible for the happiness, pleasure and joy. As long as we can remain in Sattva, we will be happy and contented. So one way of looking at contentment is that all the time we maintain this awareness and we consciously practice the habit of contentment. And this practice would mean that we are getting established in Sattvic Guna, in Sattva. So as long as we are in Sattva, we are joy. We don't need anything to be happy. This idea we have discussed earlier several times when we were discussing chapter 1. If you remember, we talked about Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. So there we talked about Chitta Prasadanam. What is Chitta Prasadanam? Chitta Prasadanam means joy, bliss, tranquility, happiness, peace, which is there in the mind. Now, this tranquility, joy, happiness does not depend on any fulfillment of any desire. It is just there. The person you will find, he is always in a joyful mood, he is in a tranquil mood, he is in a happy mood. That is what is Chitta Prasadanam. So it is this contentment idea is an extension of that very thing. That when we are practicing contentment, we have enough to be happy, but we are not happy. So that is the problem. Now this idea, this quotation which was there in the Vyas Bhashya, it says that it doesn't matter what kind of desires we have. At the fulfillment of every desire, we will go on changing the desire. So that desire will again, that happiness also will be depending only on the fulfillment of some or the other desire. There will be a lot of effort, and we have seen that whatever we get, very, very soon we get tired of. So at one point of time, we feel when we come out of college, we are fresh. So we think that if I get job, I'll be very happy. And then we pray to God, God, help me to get a good job. We get a job. After getting a job, we are excited, we are happy. But how long? How long? The moment we start going to job, then we start seeing some faults there. We start seeing some lag there. And then we want to change a job or we want a promotion there. And after getting a job, then we have the desired shift that now I should get married, then I'll be happy. And most of us get married. Only some don't get. So after marriage also, how long the happiness lasts? How long the person is contented? Then one wants the bigger house. After bigger house, one wants a car. So the efforts are going on continuously. The goal is shifting and our efforts are going on. So this temporary happiness which we are getting in between at each fulfillment, at fulfillment of each of the desire, that happiness is not really lasting. It is not abiding. So that is why they say that sukha or happiness is of two kinds. One, which one gets out of the fulfillment of all the desires. That is one kind of happiness. But this kind of happiness will always depend on some kind of efforts, some kind of change. So we will be, subject to a lot of variations there. Sometimes we will be unhappy, new desires will be replacing, and then more effort will be. And this happiness will not last. That is what the most important thing is. This happiness, which is based on the fulfillment of desires, will not last. That is the problem. So they say that if you practice contentment, then you can have a better option and you can be happy for relatively longer time. So there they have said that तृष्णा के क्षय से उत्पन्न होने वाला जो सुख है वो अनुत्तम सुख है. Any other kind of pleasure which we are used to every day, बहुत कुछ होता है, we are happy, things go according to our wishes, we are happy, but that happiness is very temporary and it shifts, it changes. It is not anuttama, it is not unsurpassed. There are more desires, there are more ideas of happiness. So when we are happy with small things, we think others are more happy because they have got better things. If we get those better things, then still we feel that there are still more better things. So this way the process goes on and there's no end to it. So somewhere this contentment idea has to come. And when the person is contented, whatever he has, if the aim of life is to be happy, then we have to learn the art of happiness. And if we have to learn the art of happiness, then we have to learn what is that attitude through which we can be happy. Because one method we have tried, fulfillment of desire is one method everybody tries and everybody fails in that. So if everybody fails in that, one may say that, okay, instead of suffering in rain, sitting outside the house, it is better to sit in a Mercedes car and be sad. So one can say that. But still, it will be a relative thing. The pain will be there. If a person living in a very modest kind of family is unhappy because his desire for bigger house is not fulfilled, then the quality of unhappiness he has is similar to the quality of a big industrialist who is not able to acquire a big company. And because of that, he is sad. The feelings are same. The pain is same. The lack is same. There will be no difference in the lack. So it cannot be said that suppose my feelings of sadness are less intense than the feeling of sadness of Dhirubhai Ambani or Anil Ambani. If I am having a sad feeling, it is the same sad feeling which he might be having. Only the object of desire might be changed. I may have a desire for a smaller thing. He may have a desire for bigger thing. But the feelings are same because as far as the hardware is concerned, we all are same. We all are, हम लोग एक ही जैसे बने हुए हैं. No matter in which part of the world we are all same. And as far as the feelings of pain, feelings of lack, feelings of this kind, or fulfillment or happiness, they are concerned. We are having the same fulfillment, same desires we have. So it doesn't matter whether a rich person is feeling sad or a poor person is feeling sad. Sadness is sadness. So this has been a tested method where people realize that fulfillment of desire is not going to give us a permanent kind of satisfaction. It is not going to give us. So somewhere we have to learn, we have to draw a line. One very beautiful idea which is stated in yoga, that desire, see what you want. And once you get what you want, then be happy. Enjoy, be in that state. Now this is applicable to the asanas also. People are always in the lookout for new exercises, new asanas, new practices, new yoga meditation, new yoga pranayam. If a simple pranayam like simple breath awareness can give us peace of mind and good concentration and good relaxation, why not stick to that? Why keep on seeking some new things? It is because of our nature that we are all the time seeking. Sometimes we are seeking new teachers to learn from. And some teachers advertise, if you go to that class, you will learn only 20 asanas. But I'll teach you 40 asanas. There's another teacher who will say, well, I'll teach you 60 asanas. So people will normally go for the individual who's teaching 60 asanas. Because they think the more it is, the more happier I'll be, the better it will be. But they forget that the yoga principle is, if you can be happy in one asana, then you are always happy. Then no matter what you do, you'll always be happy because you have learned to be happy in one asana. Dr. Jaydev always used to say, asanas are made in such a way that even if one asana is done correctly, it will give all the benefits of yoga. So if one is doing just, and Patanjali also says, Sthira Sukham Asanam, it will come now. Subsequently, these sutras are going to come. So that just we can link to this idea of dissatisfaction we have created in our mind. All the time we are dissatisfied. All the time we are wanting something to happen, something exciting to happen, something new to happen. We are on the lookout. We forget that happiness is within us. So nowadays a new mantra has come. On WhatsApp, you will get a lot of messages which is communicating the single idea. That what is that idea? Happiness is a choice. I hope everybody has received such kind of messages. Happiness doesn't come from the events, it doesn't come from people, it doesn't come from happenings, but it is a choice you make. If you choose to be happy, you will be happy. If you don't choose to be happy, then you will not be happy. So this is the new mantra. So lot of philosophical truths are coming by way of WhatsApp messages nowadays. Mostly people have become philosophers. So everybody exchanges these kind of messages. But then in a day, we are reading hundreds of messages. Earlier, there was one idea which will slowly come, then we will reflect on the idea whole day. We'll allow that idea to percolate inside. We'll allow that idea to go in, and we will think about it. We'll come to some conclusions. So that idea will remain for a long time with us. And then we will be able to derive benefit out of that idea. And look at today's world, what is happening on WhatsApp. We are getting 100 new ideas every day. So by the time you read next message, you have forgotten what you read in the previous message. By the time you go to the third message, you have forgotten the earlier two messages. This is what is happening. I'm sure when you are opening your WhatsApp, this is what is happening, that you are receiving. And earlier, friends used to send only one message or two messages. Now one friend is sending 5, 10, 6 messages together, and each message is excellent. And that message, the impact of that message is only for 1 or 2 seconds. You are not able to retain it because there's a bombardment. There's a bombardment of stimuli. There's a bombardment of ideas, and our minds are very limited. We can take one idea, we can chew that idea, we can reflect on that idea. If it goes deep, then we are affected by it. Otherwise, it comes here and it goes out. It comes here, it goes out. We are not getting any benefit of all the good messages. Same thing happens in case of happiness also. Happiness is possible, but then these ideas are there that the more is there, the more I'll be happy. The more is there, the more I'll be happy. That doesn't happen. So this normal approach which we have to change it. And it has been established that there are people, I have seen people who are really contented and they are really happy. They don't need anything. They are happy. This possibility is there. It is not that such people don't exist. They are there. But only thing is we have to really think about it deeply. So this is a good sutra to remind us of the right kind of attitudes. And last time when we were discussing about niyamas, I was telling you that niyamas are those attitudes which will ensure our well-being, which are desirable things, which are necessary for our well-being. If we want to grow in life, we have to develop this idea of contentment. We work for something. If we get less, then we will contented. Okay, this is what has happened. It's okay. It's fine. I'm happy. I'm joyful. So here we are using that option of choosing, choice, decision, that I want to be happy. I want to be contented. So some people are naturally contented. So you'll find that they are happier. But if we also have an element of contentment in us, only thing is we need to strengthen it. So from this sutra point of view, a contentment attitude has to be inculcated. If it is already there, it has to be strengthened. So as a niyama, every day for some time, one can practice this idea by way of, so when something good happens, some desire is fulfilled, we feel joy, we recall that joy, and we recall and we remember that joy, and then we try to live that joy without any desire, without any other event, depending on any other event. So we try to relive it, we try to experience it again and again. So this way, every day, some amount of the time during the day has to be practiced towards this niyama to feel contented. So if we really sit back and quietly think, reflect, that itself is joyful. See, we are able to eat well, the health is good, we are alive, we have got family, we have got friends, we have got money, we have a shelter, we have a house, we have good clothes. That is enough reason to be happy. I remember 2, 3 times Hansaben had said this in class. If a person is able to eat well and make love, that should be enough reason to be happy. And we have relatives with whom we are in relation, kind of they are caring for them and they are caring for us. There's enough food to eat, there's enough health to digest what we are eating. That should be a good reason to be happy. But we are not normally happy because this requires little deeper thinking. So this is what is the message of Sutra, that one has to. And as I told you, this beautiful scripture is there, II.42. I remember I had learned it with Dr. Agashe, and he has got a beautiful voice. So he used to chant that, this entire II.42, which is known as Anandavalli. One is Shikshavalli, that is, second is Anandavalli, and the third is Bhraguvalli. So Anandavalli, he used to chant. I heard him several times chanting. So he will, chant and he will say, Manushya ka anand itna hai, Dev ka anand itna hai, Gandharva ka anand itna hai, Brahma ka anand itna hai. It was a pleasure, and this was an idea. Our essential nature itself is, you see, we don't have to put any effort. When we have slept well, morning when we get up, we are fresh. We look at the sun from our window. Our hearts are filled with joy. Our hearts are filled with tranquility. Nothing is needed actually. Automatically, when we look at the trees, we feel happy. We look at the birds, we feel happy. We look at the flowers, we feel happy. We look at somebody smiling, we feel happy. We look at our children, they are smiling and they are laughing with us, we are happy. See, these are the kind of pleasures which are there, but we don't consider them as valuable, or we don't consider that they are. We give more importance. If I get this, then I'll be happy. This attitude needs correction actually. So this sutra is just pointing out this, that we need to reflect on this, and each one has to make a choice, because ultimately it is our choice which will make us happy. No amount of sermons, no amount of discussions, no amount of reading is going to make us happy. It is our own decisions which will make us happy. So we have to reflect on it and we have to decide on this.
Sir, in every session you give us the food for thought.
Yeah, because sutras are like that. Sutras are there to transform us. Sutras are not merely to be discussed. They are there to help us discover some new things, go for newer experiences, go for higher things. So that is what is important here.
That contentment should not come out of laziness. Like, some people are lazy and then they feel
they will not be able to maintain happiness for a long time, because laziness would definitely lead to some kind of omissions, and that will make them unhappy. So it definitely doesn't connect to laziness. One has to do whatever is required to be done, but at the same time, after doing that, I have done it, that's enough, I am happy, I am joyful. ये खट्टे अंगूर नहीं है. हाँ, ये खट्टे अंगूर नहीं है, ये तो एकदम पॉजिटिव बात है.
Correct.
So I just want to add that one of the other ways of being content is also to be a little selfless. Like, as in, when we are selfish, always thinking about ourselves. But when we do a little bit of social work, we see people who are deprived, we see people who are suffering, then it brings us connect that how fortunate we are, we should have gratitude for whatever we have. So I guess being a little less selfish also makes us more contented.
Yeah, being grateful is connected to contentment.
Correct. Yes.
Because there also certain amount of contentment has to be there to feel grateful to God, or grateful to nature, or grateful to other people.
True. Very true.
They are all extension, basically. But what you say is right. Certain amount of selflessness, little selfless work is always helpful, because there the joy is in the act of doing and not connected to the result. You are doing something for somebody, and in return you are not expecting anything. So we are deriving pleasure, we are deriving that ananda from the selfless act itself.
True. Thank you, sir.
There is a 4 lines. कि
Yeah.
नहीं मिल पाती है जब मैं किसी चीज को चाहता हूँ और वो मुझे नहीं मिल पाती है तो उसे पाने की ख्वाहिश हर पल मुझे सताती है।
हाँ.
उसे पाने की लालसा हर पल मुझे सताती है और यदि मैं किसी चीज को चाहता हूँ और वो मुझे मिल जाती है तो कुछ ही पल में उसकी अहमियत खत्म हो जाती है।
That is the human mind. जब है तो कुछ उसकी वैल्यू नहीं रहती है. Very soon we get bored out of it or we just take it for granted.
Yes, sir.
Then we shift the goal. वो मिल गई तो अभी दूसरा कुछ.
जो आपने वर्ड टर्म यूज किया ना, शिफ्ट द गोल पोस्ट, इज सो करेक्ट सर.
हाँ.
शिफ्ट द गोल पोस्ट.
Of diminishing marginal utility also.
Yeah.
नहीं, in marginal utility at least some kind of satisfaction is there. But then yes, that principle also can be used because the oranges may stop giving us the satisfaction, but after one day, next day, if we are again eating, the same oranges will give us pleasure because then shift has taken place. So in a partial way, that law of marginal utility is definitely applicable, but that will come under the category of where desires are fulfilling all the time. So effort is involved, so new effort is involved every time. But when we talk about contentment, it is abiding. One's attitude is there to be happy. One is joyful. I've seen people. I was working in a department where people were people from very modest background, people who did not have much money. They came, they joined, and after that, suddenly, of course, some wrong means were adopted. They became super rich. People who did not have even thousands of rupees, they started getting lakhs of rupees in a month or maybe more. But when it comes to happiness, there was no happiness. There was no joy. They were always under tension that what will happen. They were always seeking more. So several such examples are there. If a undeserving person also gets something, that is also a cause of a lot of tension and worry and unhappiness.
So, so key takeaway from this session is happiness is directly proportional to contentment.
Yes.
Contentment is directly proportional to cessation of desires. You have to.
Yes, directly.
And cessation of desires is dependent partly also on you having more of sattva.
More of sattva, more of understanding.
More of knowledge.
More of
knowledge.
sattva means more of understanding, more of wisdom. Because wisdom only will make us understand that why we are running after a mirage and how many years we are going to waste in that. And how many years we are going to postpone our happiness. How many years we are going to, stop ourselves from being joyful, being happy. So that wisdom has to come.
So from a practical point of view, to cease desires, to increase sattva, to increase your right knowledge, to increase wisdom, as you say, what would the practical tips be? I mean, because this means that it's more a work of the mind, right? I mean, than anything else.
Yeah. So we remain very much aware that when one desire is fulfilled, we really think that now this is fulfilled, this has happened. So in what way it has contributed? In what way I am feeling happy, or in what way I am feeling completed or fulfilled, and how long that is lasting. So this is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process, but at the same time, one thing is there. It can be very practical thing. When a person has got some habit, some wrong habit, and if that person tries, put efforts, and becomes free from that habit, then he feels a great amount of joy, confidence, and he feels as if he is the master. So now that feeling is so superior to fulfillment of desires that when you give up, like Rajkumar ji read about this Kavita. Earlier I had mentioned about Osho's comment when Osho was talking about fulfillment of desires, and on that topic, he had recited a Urdu sher, and that sher goes like this: है हुसूले आरजू का राज तरके आरजू, है हुसूले आरजू का राज तरके आरजू, मैंने दुनिया छोड़ दी तो मिल गई दुनिया मुझे. So you see, it is a freedom. When you are not depend, when our happiness does not depend only on objects, then we are free, and that sense of freedom itself is so joyful. You know, you move along with your friends. Some friends are there; they are dependent on smoking. Some people want drink. Some people want tea. Some people want something. But you don't have any such kind of desire. Then you will feel you are comfortable, but others are not comfortable. And that comfort is coming from where? That confidence is coming from. It is the desireless. It is non-dependency. So contentment also gives us a freedom from so many things. And that freedom is really, इसीलिए उन्होंने कहा है कि the happiness we derive out of fulfillment of desire is not even 1/16 of that state of mind when we have given up desires, when we are desire free, when we are contented. So it is unsurpassed. Unsurpassed means nothing can be better than that. So imagine a sense of freedom which is there. Like mastery comes in two ways. Mastery comes when you normally we understand mastery by power. Now understand, this is very, I remember I had a conversation with Dr. Jaydev, and there lies the secret of this word called mastery. So we were discussing on encyclopedia volume 3, which is related to mental health, which is published by Yoga Institute. So we were working on that encyclopedia, and we were working on this idea of a tantric, various methods which are there, which are applied for curing the mind, or which is addressing the mental disorders, various kinds of therapies we were discussing, and in that tantra was also part of it. So we were discussing about a tantric, and this book which we were discussing, that book has been written by a great psychoanalyst, very famous, world famous psychoanalyst has written that book. So we were reading, I had marked that passage, and I was reading. Meeting was going on. We used to meet every Wednesday from 7 to 8. So some people were there, and I was reading from that book. And then the conversation which took place, it was talking about a tantric who had practiced tantra yoga for 36 years. And then this therapist who has written the book, he said, I interviewed the tantric and I asked him, what have you achieved after 36 years of sadhana? इतने 36 साल के योग की साधना के बाद में आपने क्या सिद्ध कर लिया? तो तांत्रिक ने क्या जवाब दिया? The tantric replied that, what I don't know much about the siddhis and much about the attainments, but I know one thing. After 36 years of tantric sadhana, wherever I go and whatever I get, I feel that is what I wanted. So if I am visiting somebody's house, they offer me fish and rice, then I find this is what I wanted. And then I go to next house, they offer me dal chawal. Then I realize this is what I wanted. So now you see, this is the mastery. This mastery can be seen two ways. Either that tantric has got such a power that whatever he desires, he gets. That is one thing. The second way of looking at it is that he is so free from desires that whatever is available, he finds satisfaction. So this second mastery is much better. And this is what Dr. Jaydev had said. Perhaps this is what yoga wants us to do.
And what I feel is,
Yeah,
we haven't to suppress or we haven't to leave anything. I think if we pick up a little higher desire, Like now, all of us are here, and perhaps we are in business, perhaps we could have made a little more money, but then we find more joy in this. So that has been dropped. It gets dropped. So, like, we haven't to leave anything. We haven't to suppress. I think if we get a taste of some higher thing, the lower thing drops. So I think that is what we have to try and do. Otherwise, it will be suppression and it will come back with a lot of force.
Yeah, to give up the desire is a higher state of mind. So if we enjoy that, then we can easily give up the lower thing.
It just drops. It should drop
Yeah,
actually.
it
Yeah.
drops.
Yeah.
It really drops.
Yeah, it drops.
But there has to be a constant effort, I mean, like you said, how long does happiness lie? I mean, so how long does, this session is very good. Everyone enjoyed, everyone understood. Theoretically, everyone understood. But then
Yeah.
after 2 days again, you tend to get back to your old
Habits. Yeah.
and that may be seeking more and being discontent with what you have.
Yeah.
And then you forget this. So that's the reason I was asking, what are the practical ways to increase sattva? Is it constant hammering of this, that every morning or while praying or whatever, you remind yourself that it's so critical to be, clear.
One way of increasing sattva is that we maintain awareness of whatever is happening around us and whatever is happening to us. We become total aware of that. The moment we become aware, the sattva is there. But this doesn't happen. Again, we lose it. So that is why you will find yoga has developed a very elaborate technology for increasing sattva. So what is that technology? Practice of yamas and niyamas is that technology. Asanas. Whenever you are doing asanas, everybody of us, even if we stand in the posture and we start paying attention to our body, we go in sattva. We meditate. When we are meditating, we are focusing on our breath. We are aware. That time it is sattvic state. It is only when we become self-forgetful, when we forget ourselves, where we are, what we are doing, what is happening, then tamas and rajas are taking over. A state of awareness is always sattvic. So yoga technology, entire yoga technology is for making us aware and increasing the sattva. That is what the purpose of yoga techniques are. So इसीलिए बोलते हैं रोज साधना करनी चाहिए, रोज ध्यान करना चाहिए, रोज आसन करने चाहिए. इसीलिए कहा जाता है कि जितना हम साधना का अर्थ ही यह है कि जैसे हम साधना में बैठे हम सत्व में चले गए. किसी भी प्रकार की साधना, इवन हम जब पूजा करते हैं रेगुलरली, जब ध्यान पूर्वक जब करते हैं, पूजा में भी प्रकार है. सात्विक पूजा भी होती है, तामसिक भी होती है, राजसिक भी होती है. तो अगर ध्यान पूर्वक पूजा करते हैं, पूरा मन लगा के करते हैं, ध्यान से करते हैं, तो वो सात्विक हो जाती है. So that way, and even like now we are discussing about this idea. Let us decide for in a day for 5 minutes I will try to feel contented. I will count my blessings. I will feel grateful. I'll feel, जैसे अभी मनीषा ने कहा कि feeling grateful is also one way. So during the day, or we can, you see, there's another way. Whenever we feel dissatisfied, whenever we feel unhappy, whenever we feel that my mood is not good, or I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling melancholic, I have resentment, I have grudge, that is the time we can practice this. So life is providing lots of opportunities to us to practice this.
So Ajay Bhai had sent a WhatsApp message, Osho's message a few days back, and that went, I don't remember the exact thing, but it was talking of the structural defect of a mind, where the mind will force you to look for discontentment or some disharmony or something, and the key lies in being tranquil and maintaining balance. It's very good, very powerful message from Osho.
Yeah, we discussed that idea, that Sutra 15, which I said. Our mind itself, because it undergoes changes, because sattva, rajas, tamas cycle is there, it will go on changing. So we have to maintain that tranquility. And various ways can be. See, there is no fixed way. Yoga technology is there, but otherwise, apart from that yoga techniques, classical techniques, there are several ways. Looking at the trees, looking at the sun, looking at the sunset, sunrise, looking at the birds, looking at the flowers. all these can, they can be moments where we can bring sattva, we can bring when we are appreciating something, when we are looking at the beautiful things, mind is peaceful, mind is tranquil. Without that, we cannot appreciate.
One of the things is when I think of sattva myself, I think food, having the right kind of food, having the right kind of routines, and by and large that is there in my life, but I still don't feel I have enough of sattva. So, and I see other people who have non-veg, who have wrong routines, but apparently they seem to be more balanced, more content than this thing. So food and routines obviously plays a important role, I'm sure, but there's something beyond that as well.
Yeah. Very true.
Extending your time every time. I hope you're comfortable.
Yeah, that's why I could speak.
Niranjan, you were talking about a person gets a job and then feel happy for some time, and then he thinks of getting married to get happy.
Yeah.
So there was this very beautiful girl, Priya. So she once goes to a wise man and says, there are two boys who are madly in love with me. One is Rajkumar and one is Ashish.
Okay.
So who's the lucky one?
Okay.
So the wise man says, Ki Rajkumar will marry you and Ashish is the lucky one.
I hope everyone gets this joke. So all those who are not married can be still very happy.
Laughing also can give you a lot of contentment. Those who are content can really laugh. Otherwise, people have forgotten to laugh also, actually.
Developing sense of humor is the best thing to really, remove the unhappiness and remove the sadness. Doctor had tremendous sense of humor.
Yeah, very.
See, this we have to understand that somebody has written that when person is doing yoga, he has to be very serious. He has to withdraw, and he's very boring kind of person, or he is not interested in normal things. That is not the case in Indian thinking. Even these people who were existing at the Vedic times, in the ancient time, they were very robust people. They were interested in life. But only thing is, yogi is very objective, and he's a realist. So he's always wanting to go to the truth. That's why people may think that he's very serious, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a sense of humor, or he doesn't enjoy, or he doesn't have this capacity for enjoyment. They have, but then they are looking at a higher perspective. So I remember doctor's innocent laughter and sense of humor, tremendous sense of humor.
Sincere होना है, serious नहीं होना actually.
सीरियस होने की जरूरत नहीं है. So we stop here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
I'll stop the recording.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.